Didn't expect that. Leave meeting. I see your entrapment. Hello and welcome to Mental Digest. This is a once in a month special occasion where by we I mean Dean and I, that prick there, are going to talk about mental health awareness. We're going to talk about some of the stories that have followed us throughout our lives, problems, issues, and how we overcame them. Some of them are ongoing that we may never overcome. So we're going to set this up now, and we're going to talk to you about mental health as children. Hello, Dean. Wow, it took literally all of, 30 seconds to fuck this up? For those, the context behind this is Dean is currently broken and dying. Yep, he's back. Nope, is he crying? Yep.
I can cut some of this bit out.
Why, that was comedy gold, mate. Absolutely fucking comedy gold. Oh yeah, I should have mentioned, there will be bad language throughout this, because the sad thing is both me and Dean are not intelligent enough to not speak without swearing, so we can't speak. Right. Yep. So, yes, I can't believe you broke it in 30 seconds.
I couldn't help it. Just trying my best, and the way you just said, hello, Dean.
It's not that. My voice is not that intimidating.
It's not intimidating. I just feel like I'm about to be attacked.
What am I going to do? Gnaw on your ankles?
So,
Dean to the garden centre, please. That's Dean to the garden centre.
I'm being called to the afterlife.
The afterlife doesn't call you like that.
It does in Morrison's.
What if you drop dead in Morrison's? What if the afterlife is just Morrison's?
Well, everybody knows that the Morrisons, as we have them, are just God's waiting room.
Yeah, but would that really be a heaven? Like, would that?
I never mentioned heaven.
Oh, touche. Okay,
I just mentioned afterlife.
Some purgatory stuck behind some two old people going, "Hello, Doris. I haven't seen you since last Monday? Oh, yes, Phyllis. It's Monday all over again. We see each other every Monday. Get out the fucking way."
My son's got awful hemorrhoids.
Has he? You've never told me that.
Mental health.
That's children. Mental health. As children, yeah. You've got children. Yourself?
Do.
I obviously don't, because I am incapable of breeding.
But you did used to be one.
I did. So. I did. At some point, yeah. I mean, I was born at 46. Has pulled out of my mum's womb by my beard and hair.
You're like about the same size.
What, as a chimpanzee?
As you were when you were born.
God,
So-
it's so hairy. That was just my mum's vagina.
I was just about to say, what are we talking about here? You or your mum?
Well, okay, so yeah, I did, contrary to popular belief, I did used to be a child.
Yes. Obviously, with having children myself, one of the big aspects of mental health with children that I see is the difference between when we were kids compared to how it's dealt with now.
Well, it's accepted for a start.
Yes.
Acknowledged.
Mm-hmm.
Is accepted the right word? Acknowledged.
There's a lot more understanding of it.
Oh yeah.
And like, if you go back to when we were kids, you weren't allowed to have problems. You weren't old enough to have problems. How dare you have problems? And if it ever came to the point where it was a problem enough to become disruptive, you were just a disruptive child.
Yeah, you were just that kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that was brushed off as, oh, his parents are split up. Oh, that explains it.
Yeah.
He comes from a broken home. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, primary school for us, elementary for anyone else who's not living in the UK, it was I mean, we went to school in the late 80s, early 90s. Primary school we did.
90s.
Yeah. That's what I said.
Yeah. Not 80s.
Yeah, we went to school then, and basically we were generally outcasts. Me and you. You know, we were always the social pariahs, so to speak. We met each other. When did we meet each other? It's far too long ago. 30?
So
30 years ago, something like that. Far
yeah.
too fucking long ago. And basically we ended up, you know, children are strange. They don't make friends as such. They just kind of start playing together.
Yeah.
And I remember me and you meeting for the first time, both being social lepers. I was playing on my own. You were also playing. Yeah, we were playing. I was going to say playing with ourselves, but that was much later in life.
And much more frequent.
Well, you actually needed surgery to get your hand off your cock, if I remember correctly.
Still there.
Super glued on.
They just cut it off and give me a spare one. Why is there an extra hand down there?
I'll explain in the future.
Yeah.
Just accept it. Couldn't get my hand off my dick.
It's just one of them things.
Yeah. It's like a mole. An overgrown, opposable thumbed mole.
At least it can't wave at you.
That's true. Or flip you off.
No, but that needs to be a thing.
What? Cock flipping?
Yeah, just no.
Getting the bird from the bird. So yeah, we met as social pariahs, lepers, two kids who weren't popular. You know, we liked. What did we like to do? Dinosaurs, computer video games.
Yeah.
You know,
computers were a big thing for us. Back in
yeah.
a time where computers weren't that popular, you were still seen as quite a weirdo if you played computer games.
Hmm.
It was your stereotypical sort of shut-in nerd if you played computer games.
Yeah, I mean
Which,
that for us kind of went till well into maybe 20-ish.
yeah,
Yeah.
till sort of like Xbox and
Mhm.
PlayStation become really popular.
Yeah, I mean we it's the sort of games we played as well. I mean there were games from back then that just encouraged my love of sword and sorcery.
Mm.
You know, not I didn't get the latest football game. I didn't get the you know, but yeah, we met doing strange things basically, and we stuck together ever since. But it was that sort of, I guess it was mental illness that kind of led us together in that respect, because you didn't have we weren't the popular kids.
No, I think one of the things I suffered from was not understanding other kids. So the majority of kids when we were in school with in our year were into things like they were into football, cars, and that just didn't interest me in the slightest. I didn't understand them, and obviously, when you're a child and you don't understand what everybody's into,
Hmm.
that leads to being an outcast, being bullied.
I mean, the thing is as well. We also grew up in a time of great homophobia. Um, it was so off the cuff homophobia as well. So if you weren't into cars or football or rugby, you know, I mean, we're going to fast forward a little bit to high school. I actively remember certain teachers in PE calling like you like get the ball, you puff.
Yeah, yeah, and it was seen as completely normal.
Hmm.
Uh, but I mean, I had that throughout my years as a child as well.
Hmm.
And, oh, you don't like football? You're gay? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which
Um,
I mean, if you're talking about the responses of an adult, whatever, you call me gay, whatever. But it creates some serious identity issues when you're younger,
mhm. Yeah.
which,
I mean, especially when you get called it and you have no idea what it actually means.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
because then it sort of it fuels the homophobia because that lack of understanding, that word just becomes an insult. You don't really think about what it means. You don't think about what you're actually saying. It's just if that is an insult, that's
Mhm.
all you'll ever see it as.
Yeah. So yeah, we going back to the actual original story. Um, we met. School wasn't exactly primary school wasn't exactly a happy time for us. Um,
No, and you could definitely tell with how we were introduced that it wasn't a
yeah.
happy time, considering how old would we have been? So talking Y3, so we're probably about 6 or 7. Yeah, about that age. And just minding my own business as usual and find somebody
I was
hanging
minding
things
my own
on a
business.
tree. You weren't, you were
Right.
hanging things on a tree.
Can we set the context straight first, right? That
Okay, go on.
the school we went to isn't like a school as you see it now. It was basically on a open footpath, which makes it sound like we went to school in the Shire, but we didn't. You know, people could actively, like adults, could actively walk through our playground, which might sound like the biggest paedophile magnet ever, but Like my mum used to bring me a can of pop every day, and like our playground was completely open to everybody. There was I mean, the railings you could slip through. They weren't exactly railings. Nothing was
That's
gated.
that's a lie. Shortly after you left, one of the pupils in our year decided to see if they could fit through the railings, and had to be rescued because the head went through, but they couldn't get it back. So fire brigade had to come out and cut the railings away.
Bring butter.
Oh dear.
Oh god, I can imagine the dinner ladies. Like, let's get a paper towel for that.
Yeah. My God, the solution to everything. Well, my leg appears to have been decapitated. Oh, paper towel, you'll be fine.
Yeah. That's grand. We'll just stick a little paper towel on it.
God, it really did sound like we went to the school of the Shire.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I not scheming. Scheming is too strong of a word.
it was definitely a plot. At the very minimum, it was a plot.
It was a solo operation until you got involved.
Yes. So I approached Adam and asked him why he was hanging various items onto a tree. And he elaborated on his plot to get as many things onto this tree so that lightning would strike the tree, set on fire, fall down, and inevitably burn the school down. So obviously I joined in.
Yeah.
Looking back, there were some minor flaws in the plan.
Okay, right. There was some rudimentary knowledge of science in there.
No.
The fact that I was using massive insulators and not conductors in a time when there was no storms even planned.
Yes. And we definitely know now that plastic bottles, crisp packets, and toilet seat definitely
quite possibly used condoms, knowing our playground.
Probably.
Oh no,
the other
playground. There would be no used condoms.
Oh yeah. Oh, other one, there were Protestants across the road.
Pesky Protestants. Always up to no.
Damn
coming
you and your prophylactics.
Literally coming onto our playground.
So the other vital flaw was the fact that the tree was at the opposite end of the playground to the actual building.
Yeah. I mean, there was some fatal flaws in the plan.
But I decided to join in. And now look at us.
Thus begins a symbiotic relationship that continues to this day. It's a sexless marriage, is exactly what it is.
Yeah, pretty much. I like to think of it as a symbiotic relationship that will inevitably end by one of us eating the other one. No, nope, Adam's dead. Barbecue time.
Would you do it like a snake?
Just dislocate my jaw.
You in your front room completely flat out with a shape of me in between you.
Dean, what have you done?
It's what you would have wanted.
It's the circle of life.
I'd sing it like Elton John, but I'm far too fat. I mean, strangely enough, you have had a fear of toilet seats since then.
Yeah.
Not generally toilets.
especially public toilets.
I'm not surprised if that's where you got your amoxicillin from, to be fair.
It's definitely an odd way to meet a friend.
Yeah, but it also shows that two people whose mental faculties aren't exactly the norm.
Like
You know,
if that were to happen now, like if one of my kids decided to try something like that, there would definitely be conversations happening between myself and the school into we're a little bit concerned about your child. But back then we were just seen as idiots.
yeah, strange oddballs. I mean, music is. I mean, this Metal Digest is obviously dedicated to rock and metal. It's always been our flavor of music. But when we were children, if you remember, like people would come up to you and go, "Hey, who's your favorite band member of some 90s boy / girl band?"
Mm.
And I would respond generally with, who's your favorite band? I don't know, Deep Purple. Who? I remember you being into Genesis. You still are. But yeah, I remember getting the thing of like, oh, that who's that? Do you not like? I don't know. Pick a band. What band was from that era? I say band in the loosest term.
Spice Girls.
They were quite.
They were quite popular while we were at primary school. I'm sure they were.
Yeah, later primary school. Well, okay, all right, I'll go for it. Yeah. Who's your favorite member of? I don't know. Take That. I don't know.
Take what?
Take what? Yeah. Funnily enough, when we're getting to our teenage years, do you like Take That? What? Yeah. What am I taking?
Let me eat it.
Yeah. What was that?
Yeah. What was that? Don't know.
Okay, 20 minutes.
I'm going Finding Hawkwind.
Once that happened.
Yes, but I didn't see you for a week. Yeah, I mean, for me personally, music wasn't so much a big part of my life. So I'd say sort of early high school. Like I listened to music. I had all my sort of parents' music taste. So I would listen to stuff like Pink Floyd, Genesis, Queen, Meatloaf, that sort of thing.
I mean that some of that borders on like, child services need to be called.
Yeah, but it was a good springboard into an actual music taste. So
yeah, I mean I remember how much your mum used to like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I never understood that.
Shimon, go dog. Oh.
Yeah. To me, that was just somebody screaming over an 80s track, and not the good kind of screaming. It was just occasionally just going, ah! Right, okay.
Did that impression of Michael Jackson again.
Why?
Because you sounded like fucking tidy up, finding that someone's shit in his bed.
Do, 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 do. Ah.
Shamona. Oh. Don't know why you went to James Brown. I mean, there was a time when Michael Jackson was weirdly
Popular.
cool. Yeah. You know, do you remember the two trees that used to be in the playground at school, and we used to like stand in between them and do the Earth song? But we, it's like say, it just didn't exist being mentally ill as a child. And when you look back at it now, you go, yes, I was suffering from anxiety. You know,
Yeah.
I used to be really like I had really bad stomach problems before I went to school. Um, I remember literally remember my mum going, "Oh, you absolutely stink." It's like it's going to get on your uniform and it'll smell. And it'd be like, "Oh, there's nothing I can do about it. Why'd you have to do that now?"
Yeah.
And it's like, well, when you look back at it, it's the stomach problems associated with anxiety. And you know, funnily enough, nothing really, nothing. I say nothing really. Nothing happened at school, so to speak, that ever made me not want to go. It was just didn't particularly like school.
Yeah.
I thought it was easy. I thought it was too easy. You know, it wasn't interesting because it was too easy. You know, and that makes me sound quite, what do you call it?
Conceited.
Yeah. But when you think about it, it is the sort of things that do play back into mental health.
Mm.
It was somewhere I didn't want to be because I wasn't challenged.
Yeah.
And
I
I
mean,
know you got bullied quite a bit.
mhm. Which made me
Which
not want to go. For
yeah,
me, school would have been so much better
had it burnt
without
down.
all the other children. Well, yeah, burned out.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, if it weren't for everybody else, I would have enjoyed school.
Mm.
But then again, I had other problems that weren't sort of picked up on as red flags like they would have been had
Well,
it
yeah.
been now. Like just complete lack of attention span. Um, I couldn't focus on something if it didn't interest me. If
Mhm.
it interested me, you couldn't stop me from doing it. But if it didn't interest me, it was just so difficult for me to keep my attention on that one thing all the time and constantly fidgeting or looking out the window or looking away. And I still do that stuff now.
But
But
that puts you down as a problem child. And back when we went to school,
not applying
yeah,
myself.
yeah, lazy, not applying yourself, difficulty concentrating on the
Yeah.
task at hand.
I mean, a lot of the time, teachers weren't exactly bothered about mincing the words. They would just call me stupid.
Yeah. Um, I remember my parents coming home from a parents' evening and literally bollocking me, going, "Oh, they said you never concentrate, and you're always doing something else other than schoolwork." And it's like, you know, these days you wouldn't say that.
No.
They'd investigate the reason why you're not concentrating. You know,
But there
have you
was,
finished the work? Is
yeah,
it too easy? Is it too hard?
yeah. Which I
There's
mean,
a yeah.
when we were kids, it was none of that. It was just you're
Thick.
either like everyone else or you're thick. That was it. You either fit into the category of quote unquote normal people, or you're an idiot. Go away.
Yeah, you'll never amount to anything. So why am I wasting my time?
Hmm.
You
And
know,
that did have a profound impact on me. Like,
I mean, yeah, you are an idiot, but they didn't know that.
but like it really, really drove my self confidence down to the point
Mhm.
where I believed that I was just stupid.
Yeah,
I was
well,
stupid.
that's the
I
thing.
couldn't learn it. I
Self-fulfilling
couldn't
prophecy.
can't learn it. So why bother trying?
Hmm. Yeah, that's the same thing. with me. It's and not just me and you, quite a significant portion of children our age group and before
Yeah.
were told that, you know, these people were literally shoved out of sight. You know, school is having visitors today. Oh, we'll make the brightest and most obedient and scholarly kids talk to the visitors. We're not going to give the creative kids anything. You know.
Yeah.
You know, this person can't spell this word. He's just obviously thick. He's not dyslexic. You know, dyslexia. It's a made-up illness. You know, it's not real. Doesn't exist. You know, it's like dyscalculia.
Yeah.
Or they just don't apply themselves at maths. You know, it's.
But, I mean, even without dyslexia, without dyscalculia, the way they expected you to learn was ridiculous. So parrot fashion, you need to learn parrot fashion all your multiplication tables.
Yeah.
I've never considered myself to be someone who struggles with maths.
No, you're not like
Raymond. I don't know my multiplication tables. I can work them out, but I can't just parrot fashion out of thin air.
I could never passion. Oh, multiplication tables. Oh,
I could never passion.
Never the passion for multiplication. No, I could never parrot fashion multiple. Yes, Schneebler. Does a child have a heart? Does a child have a soul? Does a child have a purpose?
No.
Does a child have a goal?
Anyway.
I can't parrot multiplication tables. Did it? Get in. I can't. Fuck off. I can't parrot it. I had to learn it by looking for patterns, and I learned it entirely through patterns.
Mm-hmm. Which is exactly how I do it.
Mm-hmm.
Patterns.
Yep. You know, I had to look that, you know, that 9's descended by 1, or 11's, you know, ascended by 1, or, you know, things double, or, you know, that I had to look for patterns like that made sense. In my head now, for example, I still have the pattern when it comes to the 6 times table of 6 to 8 4 0. It's drilled in there. It doesn't make sense to anyone else but me. But that's how I learned it. And me sitting there going, 1 times 6 is 6. No, it doesn't work. I'm bored already.
That our experiences as children perfectly points out why a lot of people, even into their adulthood, still struggle to come to terms with the fact that they may have some form of mental illness, because not only did you not have it picked up as a child, but because you didn't have it picked up, you build coping mechanisms, ways that your brain can make sense of things that may seem completely ridiculous to everybody else, but they work for you. So it never gets picked up on even further down the line, because you've already built little ways to navigate the issues that you've come across.
I mean, I have difficulty at times expressing emotion. I'm like a clenched fist, because, you know, we weren't allowed to be emotional as children. You know, like, you know, you weren't allowed to cry. Boys don't cry. Boys don't cry. you know, keep a stiff upper lip.
Mm.
Yeah. Or you get told that you're being too excitable, settle down, calm down. And the coping mechanisms that you use are you literally fold up like a clenched fist. And because the years and years and years of doing that through primary school, high school, college, you literally find yourself that you're an adult and you find it difficult to express certain emotions because of it. You that's not saying that you don't feel them, but
No.
express them, yes.
Yeah, and like I know you're very similar to me. Any sort of any sort of highly emotional topic always reverts to a joke.
Yeah, humor.
Hmm. That seems to be how I express most things. Like
Hmm.
inappropriately, just add humor.
Yeah. I mean, the whole when we discussed doing this for Metal Digest and December, we I say discussed. We knew that it was going to be harrowing and full of light-hearted humor that helps us, get by. I mean, I remember at school, I was walking. We were walking in 2 by 2 like bloody animals, and I was slightly out of the line, and one of the teaching assistants yanked me straight back into line, and it really fucking hurt. It wasn't a, it wasn't a stand in line like good little soldiers. It was a fucking yank. And I went home and I told my mum, and nothing we can do. You know, ultimately it goes your word against theirs. They say you were acting up, and everyone goes, well, they are children. You know, I mean, you'll remember as I do. Board dusters flying.
Bits of chalk.
Yeah, where you would. Yeah, it wasn't exactly a nice place to be. And then you'd have the jeering from the rest of the class. Hey.
Yeah, definitely. Teachers contributed.
Massively.
Yeah,
Mhm.
unbelievably so.
Yeah.
But it was the same sort of thing as you were just on about. Boys don't cry.
Mhm.
You know, I remember in primary school, I fell over. Was like often dead.
Yeah, you were
And
like a bloody Bobo doll.
yeah, and I cut open all my knee, and my knee was gushing blood. I mean, like, I really, really hurt my knee.
Mhm.
And one of the first things I got told, why are you crying? Boys don't cry.
Yeah. Man up.
I have a hole in my leg, and I'm like 8 years old.
Yeah. It's you know, it's weird when you think about it, and it was literally put a paper towel on it, stop crying.
Hmm.
And yeah, and then another thing as well, like you could never getting sent home from school ill was like a military operation. I am ill. I am not feeling well. I need to go home. No, you're fine. Carry on.
Have 5 minutes
Or-
in the quiet room.
yeah, you know, it was not so bad in primary school as such, but high school was a fucking nightmare for it. Like, if God forbid you had like a bad stomach diarrhea or something like that, and you had to put your hand up and say, "I need to go to the toilet." No, you're not. What sort of human fucking privilege is it? Like, it's a human right to be able to go to the toilet. And if you say I need to go to the toilet again, and I'd say, okay, go. Are you okay?
Yeah.
No, I'm not okay. There's shit dribbling down my leg. There's shit dribbling down my leg. I've soiled myself, and it's only 11 o'clock. Can I go home? No, you'll have to sit in your shitty duds all day.
I remember being in a history class in school, and I was, as you know, quite prone to nosebleeds. And there was no warning to them; they just started.
No, yeah, you were
And
like a
I remember that like just blood started pouring out my nose. So I'm there trying to keep it. For some reason, keep it in my hand. There's no way I'm keeping it all in my hand, but I'm trying to keep it in my
When I
hand.
will use this to sacrifice.
So I'm sat there like that with my hand over my face, blood everywhere, hand up, sir, I need to go to the toilet. No, you can wait till lunchtime. I really can't wait till lunchtime. I need to go to the toilet. And he just looked up, saw just blood everywhere, just went, go! But that's sort of the same thing. It's like, why would you instinctively refuse somebody the privilege of going to the toilet before you even find out what's going on? Just no.
Yeah, you need to go to the toilet. You should have gone last break. I didn't need to go last break. We went to a school where people played pitch and toss in the urinal. I don't want to go for a piss at the break time when I might get stabbed.
Wrapped up in tracing paper.
Yeah, I don't want to go to a fucking... I will quite happily go in lesson when there's no fucker there. But no, in all seriousness, you don't know when you need to go. Sometimes you go when you got to go. And sometimes that happens to be in the middle of a lesson. But
yeah, and I don't understand what the sort of reasoning is behind it, because out in the real world, anything past high school, you need to go to the toilet. You don't ask for permission to go to the toilet. You just go into the toilet. Yeah. That's where I've gone. I'll be back shortly.
I mean, the whole thing is, if you went back to high school and you, with this mentality now, I would just get up. I'd stand up and go into the loo. I'm not even giving you an opportunity to say yes or no. I'm going. And don't like it, fuck off.
I'll just piss on the door.
Yeah. I'm literally... I dread to think what I'd be like in high school these days.
Yeah. My sense of humor got me into a lot of trouble in high school. A lot of trouble. And it's much worse now.
Yeah. I mean, I was meek and mild. I didn't say boo to a goose. In high school, don't want to stand out. Don't want to be that person. Stand in line. Stand up straight. Be a good soldier.
Look and talk like everyone else. Fit in. No, I was quiet up until year 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I had what could only be described now as a mini mental breakdown after 10 years of bullying.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come out in horrible ways. It's going to come out. We were actually in different sides of the year in high school. But your side of the year was literally full of dicks.
Mm-hmm. And I was the target.
Yeah, and then your side of the year was literally every shade of dick on the planet.
Yeah. And me.
Yeah. And a few others. I mean, it wasn't exclusively you.
No, but did feel like that at times.
Yeah. Again, you develop your own coping mechanisms to deal with it.
Humor and sarcasm.
Yeah, which usually got you twatted even more.
Yeah. Also sent to the head of year for insulting teachers.
Yeah. To which you would get nailed to the mast, by someone giving you the hairdryer treatment in your face, usually in front of everyone, not privately in an office, not civilly talking to you and saying what you've done is wrong,
No, shout
or
and scream. Or why did you feel that you needed to do
why,
that?
yeah, why did you need to feel the need to do that? No, I'm gonna come get you in the middle of a class, stand outside of that classroom, and yell to the heavens above, the loudest banshee wail that the entire classroom can hear. Every classroom can hear, not just
Mm.
yours. Every classroom can hear, and you know damn well that your classroom is silent as they are listening to every little detail, and all they can hear is you literally trying not to blub as someone is
Because that
in.
makes it worse.
Yeah, because someone is in your face like a xenomorph, literally screaming at you blue murder without cause or even asking you why or discussing it, just full on screaming. I mean, if someone did that to me now,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even weather it. If someone got in my face like that now, but that was the thing with teachers back then. Like how big do you want to make how big do you want to feel, and how little do you want to crush someone who is in a stage of development? Puberty is bad enough as it is.
Yeah.
These people's hormones are all over the place, imbalanced. you know Narky, you remember what it was like dragging your knuckles along the floor. I mean, you've got kids now that are doing it. The thing is that we were never rude or nowhere near as bad as some of the people.
No.
But sometimes if something catches you on the wrong moment, I mean, it's not like you're screaming, "Oh, fuck off, you paedophile," to the face or something. You literally just like go, oh, that's it. That's all it takes is a
Misplaced sigh.
yeah, a misconstrued sigh. It's and it all contributes to the overall mental health well-being of teenagers. And in essence, like today, they've got the added pressure of social media. We didn't have that.
No. I can imagine growing up with social media.
No,
Because
I
there's,
mean,
I mean, like with my experience of bullying,
mm-hmm.
at least I could go home.
Yeah,
At least I could go home at the end of the day. The social media, it is always there.
yeah.
You have no break from it. You have no escape from everyone else.
I mean, the thing is as well is that you've got the alternative, which is you don't go on social media, you get bullied
And
for that.
yeah,
You're bullied for not being on social media. You are on social media, you're an open target. Can you imagine these days if your parents or grandparents on social media? Because let's face it, some people our age are grandparents. Can you imagine if they posted a picture of you when you were a child, a baby,
oh
wearing
no,
some of the clothes that people decide to dress? Why is it always sailor outfits and things like that?
people are weird.
Mm-hmm. And can you imagine the bullying that you get? Yeah, or even like, oh, your mum's fit, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
You know, it's weird. I can't even believe. I even think to what it would be like these days, and the pressure, the added pressure that would put on someone.
yeah. And like having kids obviously gives me a different insight into it, and I do believe that for girls it's much worse.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Like,
Like
you know,
it's not just the bullying aspect of it. It's not just the ridicule for posting the wrong thing.
mhm,
It's the mental image that they give themselves with things like filters. Right? Everything is filtered. Every aspect of their life is filtered. So every part of their self-image is filtered.
mhm,
And then they start to question, well, why don't I look like that in real life? Is that how I'm supposed to look like?
mhm.
And like, I'm hoping I'm doing a good job and talking openly about how fake everything is on social media. How social media isn't real, and they do seem to be understanding it, but it's only scratching the surface.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I guess you can put lessons in place at school, safeguarding things, but they're never delivered in a cool or interesting way.
No,
You
and
know,
you usually find when teachers try to deliver something in a cool and interesting way, it comes off as worse than intended.
I
It
mean,
just becomes cringy.
the closest we had to it back in our day was don't take drugs. You know, these are drugs.
I don't, I don't know. We were at the start of it. We were at the cusp of it. Don't meet people off Yahoo chat rooms.
Well, yeah, but we never had it in school. I don't remember it in school.
No, no, we didn't, did we?
No, we were the odd ones in school because we were the ones who went in chat rooms. For the younger people watching this, a chat room is a. How would you describe a chat room? It's like an ongoing
It's
WhatsApp message where you don't know anyone.
yeah, it's a good way of
Yeah, it's like
describing it.
it's a group chat, but you don't know anyone, or you think you know people because you see the username appear.
Yeah, I suppose it'd be like a Reddit thread,
Yeah, and a
but
live.
private, a private
Yeah,
live thread,
yeah,
usually littered with paedophiles.
usually littered with paedophiles and weirdos. If you're not a paedophile, then you fall into the other category. Hello. No, we spent a lot of time on chat rooms, and we met a lot of actually nice people. A lot of people we still talk to today. Um,
Social outcasts and weirdos.
yeah, other social outcasts and weirdos who couldn't wait to get home from school and log on to talk to the real friends.
Yeah,
And yet you would have your parents and teachers and friends at school who would be like, "Oh, well, you don't know them. They're not real. They're fake friends. They're not real people."
why don't you
Yeah,
go out and socialize? Because I
yeah.
don't like those people. I
I'm
like these people.
socializing. Yeah, these people actually know more about me than anyone else,
Yeah, very true.
and they don't know what I look like. So you know, they don't care. They actually know me, not how I look, or these people have like-minded interests like D&D and RPGs. Hello.
Sorry, I thought you were doing a Pac-Man impression. I just left you to it.
We're back. I'm in different clothes. Well, I'm not. I've just taken the hockey jersey off. You have lost your shawl.
Decided to present less wholly this time.
So yeah, we'll talk about. We're going to fast forward a couple of years. I say fast forward a couple of years. What we're going to do is probably jump around the timeline, like absolute
You're trying to suggest that we have no attention span and often
I'm
veer
trying to
off
suggest,
into different tangents.
yeah, I'm going to suggest that our time machine and current events, well, events throughout this next section are a little bit unsure about when chronologically they actually happened.
Yeah, so I mean, if we were starting a bit older, but I mean, this was still prior to me being diagnosed with any mental illnesses. So it was still like just me being me. But obviously, my later teens, my mental health really, really tanked.
Yeah, your like I say, your mental health, our mental health
Mm.
was particularly bad during probably 15 onwards ish, I'd say.
Yeah,
There's a lot of different contributing factors at home, college,
at school.
school, yeah. But particularly for you at home, um, I mean, you had a really, I don't like saying it because, you know, well, yeah, you had a particularly bad home life, but it was beyond your control and not, and wasn't.
No, it was. I mean, there were a lot of aspects about my home life that helped, but the majority of it was just overclouded by the utter shite that was showered upon me every day.
Yeah.
And I developed a lot of weird. I don't want to call them tics, but it just weird habits, recurring themes.
I mean, at one point, you did have tics, but we got you to the vets for that, and everything.
Wasn't ticks, it was fleas.
You say that,
I
but
only
I also
caught
had
them off you.
dewormed.
Again, that was your fault.
What? For not having you wormed?
Dude, I'm hungry. Eat this. What is it? It's a sandwich I found on the floor of my car. How long's it been there?
I didn't say eat it. You found it and went, "What's this?" It's a sandwich that's been on the floor of my car. How long's it been there? Don't know. 30 seconds later, you've eaten it.
That really did make me feel ill.
I'm not surprised. I can't even remember what it was, but it was probably egg mayonnaise or something like that.
It did taste kind of vinegary, which I know it shouldn't have done.
Yeah. Acetic acid. Mm.
But,
you can't blame me for all your problems. We've been over this.
No, I can't. Most of them I can. But I have on many occasions ripped into my mum for contributing to a lot of the weird offshoots of my mental health, including on a wedding day.
Yep.
During my speech, I made her fully aware of the times that she has destroyed my brain in one way or another. One particular way was I had a recurring nightmare. Started around, I'd say around 15 years old, continued into my 20s, and it was recurring. It was all the time, and the dream was always.
Stop you there for a second, right?
Mm-hmm.
For anyone listening, Dean and I know each other very well. I actually don't know this. So everything that is about to happen, I am unsure of. And this is the first time I've heard of it. So,
yes, some of my neuroses I kept to myself. But I had a recurring dream, and always in the dream, my skin would break open, and these little creatures were wriggling round and spilling out of my skin. It was terrifying, and it happened all the time. Then sometime in my early 20s, I passingly mentioned it to my mum, who went, "Oh, that may be my fault." Why? Well, apparently when I was younger, I asked her where all my moles come from on my skin. Her response was, "You have tiny little creatures living under your skin, and when you're asleep, they burst out of your skin to get air and then go back in." Which obviously my subconscious brain took hold of and went, "Yeah, we're gonna fuck you up with this." The other thing that I brought up during the same speech was I had a really weird OCD thing where whenever I was walking, I had to start on my left foot, finish on my right. And if I didn't, I felt like I was overusing one leg more than the other, and something was going to inevitably go wrong with this. Again, upon bringing this up to my mother, she decided to tell me that, yes, because I was a very distracted child, to get me anywhere, she would play a game. Start on your left foot, finish on your right, wherever we're going. And that had seared itself into my brain so much that it destroyed my life for quite a few years of thinking that I was going to overuse one of my legs. Not to mention the fact that she had convinced my younger brother that he was an alien and that he was going to have his real family appear when he was 18 years old and take him back to his planet. And she got a phone call from the school saying, "We're a little bit concerned about Matthew. He thinks he's an alien and we don't know why." To which my mum said, "Oh yeah, I told him he's an alien." Like, well, can you tell him he's not, please? No, he's quite happy thinking he's an alien.
I mean, you know, we're talking about that time. We put your Matt through hell as well.
Shit rolls downhill.
It does roll downhill. Shit does roll downhill. And more often than not, he deserved it.
But then again, I mean, me and our Matt dealt with the stresses of our home life in very, very, very different ways.
Yeah.
Your
Matt grew a beard. You're still trying to grow one. That is not a beard.
It's a tuft.
That is unwanted pubic hair that you have stuck on your chin.
You can't prove anything. This is real beard.
It's fucking not. It's pubes. And you can't prove me otherwise.
Listen, don't discriminate against me for being follically challenged. You short bastard.
I mean, how does it make you feel that your Matt can grow a beard?
I'm not really fussed because he always shaves, whereas, like, you're obviously a dwarf with a full beard. I mean, I half expect you to be, like, returning from the mines of Moria.
My issue is this is not a fashion choice. This can't be arseness. I hate shaving. It is a fucking chore. If I was a woman, I would be a Yeti.
Yeah, see, I don't have that luxury because if I leave this to grow, I just end up with patches everywhere and I look like I've had a fight with a lawnmower.
That's worse than your look now.
And I could shave it all off, but that is way more effort than I'm willing to put in for.
And now you know why. Yeah.
Why you? I mean, I only
have long hair because I hate going to the barbers and I can't be arsed having it cut. There's nothing wrong with calling it the barbers either.
Yes, there's nothing wrong with calling them barbers. if you're from the 1800s. Oh, I'm nipping to the barber's.
It's a fucking barber
After-
shop.
After I shall be going to the bibliothèque and having a discotheque.
Yes,
Fucking-
those world famous fucking Victorian discotheques.
You must remember when we were at school and they called them discotheques.
No, I don't. They called them discos, and we never went because it was
called-
weird. It was full of music that we didn't like.
Yes, but they did call them discotheques.
Don't call them discotheques.
Then where have I heard that word? And
It's the
see it.
French word for a discotheque. They use it.
I created a memory, didn't I?
I think you've actually created quite a lot of memories.
Oh,
Again, this is mental health coping mechanisms.
what? Just create your own memories.
Yeah,
There we go.
create your own memories to gloss over the horrible ones.
Don't know what you mean. I had a lovely childhood, riding on the back of Aslan.
It's not nothing to do with my father shoving me in a cupboard.
It was a choice. It was a magical run. I had lots of Turkish delight.
Oh,
Definitely
God,
wasn't shoe polish. What's all over your face, Dean?
You've been blacking up in the cupboard again because you know you're not allowed.
It was the 90s, you were allowed back then.
That's Justin Trudeau. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we had school discos, but we never attended them. To my
No.
knowledge, no one ever called them a discotheque.
Then I have created a false memory. I remember them being called discotheques. I'm wondering why they called them discotheques when everybody called them discos.
I mean, this literally all spawned from me saying barbers. There's nothing wrong with saying barbershop or barbers.
There is nothing wrong with saying barbershop as long as it's preceded with quartet.
Proceeded.
Proceeded.
Okay, right, okay.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
fucking pedantic piece of shit. Oh, did
So-
you say pre or pro?
It does make a lot of difference, pre or pro.
Yes, but gathering on context, which one do you think that I'm talking about? Is it called a
No.
quartet barbershop? No.
I don't know. You are insane. I don't know. Is it?
I'm not insane. I'm just outside of the box.
Yeah. The
My box,
discotheque.
I'm outside of the box labeled discotheque.
You got ejected from the discotheque for calling it a discotheque. There's literally nothing wrong with a barber's. You go to any shop that doesn't call themselves a hairdresser's, and they'll say barbershop.
Okay.
Predominantly, they deal with men. Men's
Sexist.
barbershop. Is it sexist?
Outside of like 1950s cartoons, I've never seen anywhere called a barber's.
Really? So you don't see the yellow? Christ, the fuck right off, right? And when you get to that point, fuck off even more.
Not
When you
fun
see
being.
the-
It's not fun being on the other end of the pedantic scale, is it?
I realised I fucked up.
See, I never realise I fuck up.
Exactly. You just blame me.
I permanently fuck up, and then I'm surprised when I don't.
I fucked up. It must be Adam's fault.
It usually is.
Name one time that you fucked something up and it's been my fault.
If this weren't going on the internet, I could think of many. Many.
But you
Many.
can't. So therefore, I'm right. You've been hoisted by your own.
How about that time you hit me in the face with a pool cue?
You asked for it.
And I was
Not
drunk.
in a. Are you asking for this? You said, Adam, hit me with a pool cue. And I obliged.
Right? And I was drunk.
So
It
was I.
Probably your suggestion to go to the pub. Ergo, your fault.
You can't blame everything on. It was probably your suggestion to go to the pub.
If we were going to go to the pub, 9 times out of 10 was your suggestion.
Yeah, I like the pub.
So it's your fault. Everything bad that happened to me after going to the pub and getting drunk is your fault.
You could have not drank.
Waking up on a hill, being poked by old people because they thought I was dead.
I wasn't out that night.
Exactly.
I wasn't out that night.
Exactly.
So you can't blame me. You went out, got absolutely rat-arsed.
You left me unsupervised. Still your fault.
I left you unsupervised and you pissed yourself on a hill with old people poking you.
I didn't piss myself. Although it was raining, so I couldn't have told. I wouldn't be able to tell anyway. But
and out of all the places you went, you decided to come to mine. Why don't you go home?
Because I was on the edge of your street.
Wake up and go, oh, God, I feel like I've been hit by a truck and I'm recovering from an autopsy. I know, I'm going to go to Adam's house.
It was too far away. Your house was literally there.
And if I remember correctly, I didn't let you in. I came downstairs and found you asleep in the hallway, like a dog, like a wet dog.
That wasn't the only time that happened either.
I know.
I woke up on your couch once.
You woke up at mine several times with no recollection of how you got there, and I wasn't out the night before. So I don't know why, when you got hammered on your own, you decided to set the homing beacon. Most people go home, board the beer TARDIS, and homing pigeon the way home. You just homing pigeon your way to my teat.
That is not an image I wanted. Nor you. Just waking up to me.
No, Digby.
Oh, poor dog seal.
Poor dog. We're talking about mental health issues. That poor dog. And your dog.
Yeah. My dog was like 18.
Yeah, your dog was 18. Soiled itself on a regular basis.
The time he pissed all over all the shoes. And he was just stood there. This look of pure terror, like.
The thing is, though, your dog, emptied its entire bladder on the shoes. It was non-stop. It was like yellow Niagara Falls. It was just piss-ageddon. And you came downstairs, noticed the dog had pissed everywhere, begrudgingly put your shoes on that were covered in piss, and went, not my problem, and left the house.
I don't see the problem with this.
Ricky.
I'm sorry, but who was it that cut a hole in the carpet? Oh, the dog has shit on the floor. I know what I'll do. I'll just cut round it.
Okay. It was carpet. It was thick carpet. And it was diarrhea. Right. I was left on my own. I had no idea how to get diarrhea out of a carpet. I didn't know if you started scrubbing it, it just spread and made more diarrhea. And I was due to go to work. I was in my work clothes I couldn't drive then. My granddad was outside taking me to work, honking on the horn, going, you're going to be late. No, I'm not going to be fucking late. We're an hour before work. No, we're going to go. I had a knife in my pocket. The only thing I could do was cut a fucking hole in the carpet because the only thing that made fucking sense at the time. It's what happens when you're medicated.
Some questionable choices.
It was some questionable choice. And my mum still never lets me forget that I cut a hole in the carpet, at the middle of the carpet.
I don't, but for a completely different reason. Just because to me it was hilarious. It was brilliant. It was fantastic.
Like literally, she mentioned it the other week.
Honestly,
I went to hers for a coffee, and she mentioned it then. It's like, literally, it was like 20 years ago. Get over it.
No. It is a story I should be telling my grandkids. Come round and let me tell you the time when Adam cut a shit out of the floor.
I did actually parcel it straight into the bin as well. Like, literally. Like a discarded shit pizza. It seemed like a good idea at the time. What would you have done? Seriously, in my shoes, what would you have done?
Left it. Covered it up with something. Walked away.
Did cover
Doesn't
it up.
exist. No, you didn't. There's a distinct difference between putting something over it and removing the carpet from underneath it.
At least I didn't set fire to my bedroom wall.
That wasn't my fault. I was being shouted at. And I didn't exactly set fire to it. It just
You
sort of...
You sprayed it on the wall and took your lighter out and set fire to it.
And again, what did I do? I didn't cut the wall off. I just covered it up.
Hammer. Fuck off! Did your mum ever find that?
Not to my knowledge.
I think you cover it up with a poster of Marilyn Manson or something.
Yeah. That doesn't exist anymore.
Well, that's always been your case of ignoring something, isn't it? Just cover it up, it doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't help that, for me, out of sight, out of mind is quite literal.
Yes, I know. The amount of times I've been literally talking to you and you have just... Like, literally, Dean, I'm talking to you. Listen to me, you bastard!
It's not my fault. Either something you've said has caused a mental image in my head, and that is all I can think about, or what you're saying is just of no interest to me whatsoever, and inside my head is just... I
had to get your attention. It's literally the only way I can get your attention is to physically attack you.
Oh, you mean like the time on the college bus where I was talking to somebody else and you couldn't wait for me to finish my conversation with somebody else, so you set my leg on fire.
It had to happen.
I could have quite happily gone through life without having to stop, drop, and roll in the middle of a bus. There is not much space to roll.
Right. I have no defense for that. Okay.
Or what about the time that you set my head on fire? All of a sudden, I could just smell burnt hair.
I didn't expect you to go up like that, to be fair. I honestly did not expect you to just go up like a fucking Christmas tree.
And this is why you weren't allowed lighters.
Well, the thing is, though, you were probably having a very uninteresting conversation with somebody else.
Stop having that uninteresting conversation and listen to my uninteresting conversation, you utter bastard.
Oh, great. You just made me snort on the internet. Oh, fucking hell.
I might just cut it out and loop it.
Just me snorting.
Just-
Pepper. Pepper.
I'm sorry, but that is so getting remixed. Just pig, and then you just going.
Oh, God. God, you know what? I hate Peppa Pig. I hate Peppa Pig with a fucking passion.
So do I.
So fucking annoying. She's so happy. Why do right? Why do things have to be optimistically happy all the time? It's annoying.
Yes. I mean, look at us. Nothing went wrong with not permanently happy cartoons that we would grow up with. Like Courage the Cowardly Dog. Literally a show about a dog with anxiety problems.
Exactly.
Oh, and the dickhead
No.
owner that didn't understand it.
Exactly. Gammon.
Lovely salty gammon.
Mm. You know, if it weren't for these mental issues, I probably wouldn't have set you on fire.
What the fuck?
I'm not had any lunch. I didn't think the camera would pick that up. See, even my body hates me. You just think that you're going to get through everything normal and your body hates you. It makes fucking weird stomach noises that get picked up on this fucking camera. And now it looks like I don't feed myself. Au contraire, I feed myself like a ravenous fucking dog that hasn't eaten in days behind the back of a kebab shop at 3 a.m. On a scale of 1 to 10, how loud was it? Hey, seriously, fuck off. I hope you shit yourself. And I currently know how bad your stomach actually is. I hope you shit yourself.
If I do, I'm mailing you the pants.
On the couch, right there, and your other half goes off her head at you.
That was too much.
God, I hate you. Right, we're going to go back to high school for just 1 second, right? Was there anything more embarrassing than that in an exam? In an exam hall?
No.
When your stomach decided to go.
Oh dear.
I think I need to eat something.
I think you do.
Stomach's disagreeing with me.